Short-term retreat, Dhamma talk, number 10. What is Vipassana? The simplest statement is it is the investigation of common characteristics or general characteristics of mind and matter, which are impermanence, suffering, and non-self. As long as these three characteristics are involved in your investigation, that means you are practicing Vipassana. And that investigation and understanding will eventually lead to the cessation of mind and matter, which is called Nibbana. So to understand those characteristics is so that we could realign our view with truth. Or the right view, Samadhi, to realign ourselves with the right view. Because there are 62 kinds of wrong views about self or soul. And these 62s are presented or put forward by the 7 popular spiritual teachers at the time of Buddha. We don't have time to discuss all 62, but some of the most popular concept of these views are the wrong view of self. In Pali, Sakkaya Ditthi. What it means is it is a point of view that the 5 aggregate is a self, a being. And most of the wrong view descended from there. So this is a very important one to know. And also there's the wrong view of soul, Atta Ditthi. The soul is existence of something called soul. We can't identify it, we can't prove it, but it exists. And another popular view is the wrong view of eternal soul. And in here it's a soul, but it's stressed on the fact that soul is eternal and indestructible. That is another view. And of course, everything has the opposite end. Another view is called wrong view of annihilation. wrong view of annihilation, Ucheda Deity. What it means is, we exist in this life. Once we die, there's nothing left, no next life. That is another view. These are the popular views, but there are altogether 62. Now we just keep on saying the word wrong view. Where does this come from? The original word in Pali is called Deity. Deity in the strictest sense means simply view, neither right nor wrong. But the common usage and commonly accepted meaning is deity as a wrong view of self. If you want a full and complete word, it's called Miccha Deity. Miccha is wrong, deity is view. Miccha Deity, wrong view. But it becomes commonly accepted just the word deity as wrong view. Majority consensus. Now we talk about wrong view, so we should talk about what the right view to the Buddhist. Buddhist point of view on mind and body. Okay. Buddhist point of view on mind and body is called the right view. Samadhi, of course, by the Buddhists. The Buddhists consider that as a right view. Buddha's point of view on mind and body. And the way Buddha explained is that self or soul concept, self-concept or soul concept, together combined with craving, will give rise to grasping, which eventually leads to suffering. The concept of self, the concept of soul, together with craving, will lead to grasping and eventually to suffering. Not knowing mind and body in their own true nature, Buddha called it ignorance. Avijja. And this ignorance always covers or shield the truth of mind and matter, mind and body. Avijja shields, cover up the truth, the real truth, the real nature of mind and body. And also craving cover up the truth of mind and body with 5 senses. Craving use 5 senses as a veil to cover up the true nature of mind and body. And the power of the two together, the concept of self, the concept of soul, and craving, they will make us grasp harder than ever on existence. We cling on to life. We grasp on the self. We grasp on the soul. We grasp on this existence. And that brings us suffering. And this whole thing happened because of the belief and the concept of self or soul. So this is the very short to the point explanation about concept of self or soul with reason why, cause and effect. Okay. Just take an example and discuss, try and understand this in a different way. Let's say a person has a copper chain made of copper, but it is totally coated with gold. So as the person is ignorant that actually it's a copper, he thinks that it's a gold, and he really hold on tightly to that. Copper change. But once he discovered this is not a gold chain, this is a copper chain coated with gold, that person will let go of the copper chain. Nobody wants to wear a copper chain, but a gold chain. He can let go of that copper chain. Because he knows that that's not true. And same thing with ignorance, avijja. One believes in self, existence of self or existence of soul. But when that ignorance is dispelled and knows this is only mind and body, this is not self, this is not soul, at that point one can let go of the belief in the concept of self or soul. And to do that, to make it happen, to dispel the ignorance, one need to practice Satipatthana, Vipassana, mindfulness, insight meditation. It will show the discernment of mind and body, discernment of conditionality, and the three common or general characteristics of mind and matter. But one need to practice this mindfulness, insight meditation to see, to feel, to sense, to understand these things. Then that will set you free from the grips of the concept of self or the concept of soul. So, just like a copper chain coated with gold, so let's look into the practical field what it means is what is really happening. The other one is just explaining theory. In the practical field, let's use blinking. We all blink all the time. Most of the time we don't even know. But let's blink 4 or 5 times, 6 times, purposely. Let's try and blink purposely. And if you blink purposely, you know each blink is different from the another blink. These 5 blinks are not the same. They are all different and separate. And each blink has its intention, because when you purposely blink, there's an intention to blink. Each blink has an intention, and each blink has a movement, and each blink there's knowing if you are mindful. When you are purposely doing it, of course you are mindful. You are full aware of what is happening. Each blink has its own intention, movement, and knowing, because you are purposely blinking. But real time, normal blinking, it is so fast. First of all, you don't even know that you blink. And even if you are aware that you are blinking, you can't detect the intention to blink and the movement and the knowing, because it is happening at such a great speed. A fraction of a second blink, you don't know. So this is the trying to see blinking in a purposeful or very slow mode, or at the real time mode. And your understanding is different. Your experience is different. Now, let's go straight into what we are doing. Meditating, walking meditation. Okay. You walk at a normal pace, the way you always do. At that time, you may be able to detect or know intention, movement, and knowing mind. A lot better than the normal, real-time blinking. Okay. Walking, because it's a lot slower than the blinking. So you may know the intention, you may know the movement, you may know the knowing. Cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect. But still, your knowing will be quite obscure or vague. However, if you really slow down the walking process, you will be able to detect intention to lift, lifting movement, and knowing of the lifting movement clearly. But you have to slow down. That's why we slow down. The purpose of slowing down is so that we can clearly detect these mind and matter, nama rupa. Most of us believe mind is unchanging. Since birth till now, it's the same mind. Or even from life to life, it's the same mind. That's what we believe. Because the rate of change of the mind from one mind to the other is beyond our comprehension. Buddha said it's the billions of a second, many billions of a second. One mind arises and passes away, another mind arises and passes away. That's the rate of change. But constant mindfulness and penetrative concentration can solve this problem. Of course, we don't know it so fast, but you practice mindfulness and build concentration along with it. That problem can be solved. Okay, that's you walking. When you walk, you believe, I am walking. It's me. You go on a seaside and have a little stroll. I am walking. That is how one believed, one perceived, one felt, and one accepted. I am walking. But with Satipatthana Vipassana, mindfulness insight practice, you will come to know this process of walking. What is that? Intention to move, moving, and then knowing of the movement, because you are mindful of the walking process. And with mindfulness insight, you know that it is not I who is walking, but it is the process, the operation of intention, operation of the movement, and the function of the knowing mind. And each one is doing their own job, their own function, connected through cause and effect. Intention simply just do the intending. That's his department, and finish. Because of that intention, become the cause, the walking movement happen. That's a walking movement department. And because of the walking movement occurred, the knowing mind of the walking movement arises, or mindful mind, knowing mind. That's it. That's a process. It is not I am walking. It's simply intention, movement, and knowing. Powerful mindfulness and deep concentration will make you see or sense this process piece by piece, not in a convoluted way. Piece by piece, part by part, you will see, but you need a powerful mindfulness and deep concentration. Each object, which means intention is one object, walking movement is another object, knowing is another object. Each object has its own beginning and the end. And it is repeating like a clockwork. This intention, movement, and knowing is repeating again and again. And each set is different from the other. And they are all connected through the law of cause and effect. Let's take an example that we can understand in a different way. Yes, I think we all do a little bit of planting, gardening. You plant some flowers or some vegetables. You plant a seed. Okay, when you plant a seed, eventually plant sprout up. The seed is the cause. The little sprout of the plant is the effect. And when the plant sprout up, go look for the seed. There's no more seed. The seed is gone. But the seed is the cause. The plant is the effect. When the plant arises, there is no more seed. The seed disappears. We can see that very clearly. We can experiment that very clearly. Because of that, we accepted this is the fact. This is the truth. Mind or intention is the cause. Body movement, leg movement is the effect. When the movement arises, intention is gone. Just like the seed and the plant. However, mind-body process is so fast, we cannot see it with clarity. Because of that, it's quite difficult for us to accept it. That's an analogy using the plant and the seed and the intention and the movement. Let's try another one. A river. Okay. You live by a river, you go and have a little walk by the river every day, and you see the same river exists. We call it XYZ river. Oh, XYZ river. Before I was born, it was there. Now it is there. Even after I'm die, it will still be there. That is our concept. That's our perception. That's our belief. Okay? On a superficial level, if we don't look deeply into it. But if you really look at it, that river is a big volume of water flowing constantly from higher place to lower place all the time. The river that you look is always constantly filled up with new water. It is not the same river, it is not the same water, it is constantly changing. It is changing moment to moment. Just like that, your consciousness is a stream of consciousness. We call it a stream of consciousness because it is flowing and flowing and flowing and flowing. Consciousness are flowing like a river, like a stream. It is not the same consciousness. It's a different consciousness, a new consciousness, one after the other. That is trying to know consciousness using river as an analogy. Let's try another one. We all have at home tap water. Okay, we have to turn on the tap to get water. Okay. When the tap is fully open, what happens? Big volume of water flow. Oh, water, water. We use it, we washed it. It seems like great volume of water is flowing. But let's try something else. That water tap slowly turn, tighten up, tighten up, tighten up. And when you tighten up, slowly and slowly, eventually, there will be one point. Only one drop of water falls at a time. Look, 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 look. One drop at a time. And then if you are very curious person, investigated person, you at once understand that big volume of water that is flowing is actually a composite of many, many, many droplets of water coming at a great speed. You will understand that. Just like that, consciousness, we think it is one big one. But in actuality, there are many, many, many uncountable numbers of consciousness arising and passing away. It looks like one big consciousness. That's an exercise from the tap water to see many droplets become a one big water flow. With powerful mindfulness and deep concentration, one would be able to see each mind-body process. Just like tightening up the water tap, we are tightening up with the mindfulness insight meditation, slowing down. And when you have that powerful mindfulness and deep concentration, you will see this mind-body process like one drop at a time, one process at a time, process by process by process. It is not the continuous big, just me or I or you, but it is a process at a time, a process at a time. And these processes are not continuous, one at a time. It is a series of many arising and passing away of mental objects and physical objects. It's a series of them. Each movement or each object is different from the another movement or another object. So each movement and each mind is different from the another movement and another mind. It's like a drop by drop. That's why this mindfulness insight practice, in this mindfulness insight practice, it is critical to slow down everything, to slow down every activities, to see the process piece by piece, segment by segment, drop by drop, slowing down. This is the technique of what we are practicing. Slow down and watch with powerful mindfulness and deep concentration, you will see these processes one at a time. So these are the ones that you are experiencing, and we try to understand that experience with analogies. And let's see what has it to do with these right views or the wrong views. Okay. Satata deity. What it means is the eternal belief. A soul exists for eternal, called Satata deity. That view, that belief will be abandoned when you witness that all mind and matter are constantly passing away. That's your experience. You see them, they are passing away. And you cannot reconcile your direct experience with the belief that the soul exists forever. That's why that belief is abandoned. Satata deity. And another one, you have heard it at the beginning, Ucheda deity. Okay? Annihilation view. That view also abandoned because you are witnessing. Whenever there's one object passes away, another object arises. One passes away, another object arises through the law of cause and effect. Passing away of one object is the cause, arising of the another object is the effect. Under a varieties of endless number of conditions. Conditions are changing conditions, making these rise and pass away, rise and pass away, rise and pass away. And this continuous arising and passing away, let's call it a change of rising and passing away, will never stop as long as there is or there are conditions. So, discernment of mind and matter, discernment of cause and effect, and all the mind and matter have the common characteristics of impermanent, suffering, and non-self. You understand these things? Mind is one thing, matter is another thing. Mind and matter are related through cause and effect. And mind and matter exhibit impermanence, suffering, and non-self. These are the understanding. And when you have this understanding through your direct experience of practicing mindfulness insight meditation, will let you go of all the wrong views that one has before, because they cannot be reconciled from the true real facts with the true and real facts. Vipassana verifies that there is no such thing as a self. There is no such thing as a soul or a spirit, except that there's a series of mind and matter constantly arising and dissolving one after the other based on the ever-changing conditions. That's what Vipassana makes you know, become aware. This is how the Buddha declared to the world the concept of non-self or no soul, the concept of anatta. The second discourse Buddha gave after he got enlightenment is the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, discourses on non-self, no soul. May all of you be able to practice mindfulness insight meditation and penetrate into the concept of non-self, no soul, as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much.